This isn't just a countdown, it's a battle for economic dominance. Welcome to USA Revealed. Today, we reveal the top 10 US states by GDP in 2025, and the results? Absolutely shocking. Kicking off our list at number 10 is Pennsylvania, a state whose name is no stranger to economic legacy. With a GDP hovering around $1.0 trillion, Pennsylvania isn't just holding the line, it's holding strong. This is a state built on steel, powered by coal, and now recharging through innovation. Its economic backbone still leans on manufacturing and energy, but there's a powerful shift happening. The tech sector in Pennsylvania is quietly rising, bringing new life to cities like Pittsburgh, once a titan of industry, now a hub for robotics and AI research. Meanwhile, Philadelphia, with its deep financial and healthcare networks, anchors the eastern half of the state and fuels steady growth. But what makes Pennsylvania a true economic contender is its balance, a rare blend of old-world industry and new-world potential. It's not flashy, but it's fiercely competitive. It's not booming overnight, but it's building a future $1 billion sector at a time. At number 9, Georgia is making serious noise on the national economic stage. With a GDP nearing $1.1 trillion, it's become a southern powerhouse built on innovation, infrastructure, and unstoppable growth. Leading the charge is Atlanta, one of the busiest transportation hubs on Earth. Hartsfield-Jackson Airport is a global connector, while massive freight networks crisscross the state, making it essential for commerce. Headquartered here are economic giants like Delta Airlines, Coca-Cola, UPS, and Home Depot, companies that move people, packages, and products across the world. But Georgia's economic story doesn't stop at logistics. Tyler Perry Studios and countless blockbuster productions have made Atlanta a Hollywood rival, fueling a multi-billion-dollar film industry. Meanwhile, cities like Savannah and Augusta are booming in aerospace and manufacturing, supported by companies like Gulfstream Aerospace and Kia Motors in West Point. Georgia also remains a top producer of poultry, peanuts, and yes, peaches. From film sets to factory floors, cargo planes to cornfields, this state isn't just growing, it's thriving. At number 8, Ohio asserts its economic prowess with a GDP approaching $1.2 trillion. This state's strength lies in its diversified economy, anchored by manufacturing, healthcare, and finance. Manufacturing remains a cornerstone, contributing approximately 14.7% to Ohio's GDP. The state boasts the nation's third-largest manufacturing workforce, with over 687,000 jobs. Notably, Anduril Industries is establishing Arsenal One in Pickaway County, a cutting-edge facility for military drone production. In Columbus, the economy is bolstered by a GDP of $182 billion. The city is attracting tech giants like Intel, which is investing in a multi-billion-dollar semiconductor plant nearby, signaling a shift towards high-tech manufacturing. Cincinnati leads Ohio's metropolitan areas with a GDP of $198 billion, driven by companies like Procter & Gamble and Fifth Third Bank. Meanwhile, Cleveland, with a GDP of $173 billion, is focusing on revitalization through projects like the Bedrock Riverfront Plan and the expansion of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Ohio's blend of traditional industries and emerging sectors positions it as a dynamic force in the national economy. At number 7, Illinois stands strong with a GDP of approximately $1.3 trillion, making it one of the most robust economies in the U.S. And at the heart of it all is Chicago, a global powerhouse driving the state's financial and commercial success. With a GDP of $687 billion, Chicago is the state's economic engine, hosting major corporations like McDonald's, Boeing, Caterpillar, and Walgreens. The Chicago Stock Exchange is a cornerstone of the nation's financial landscape, while the city also thrives in sectors like tech, finance, and real estate. It's also the third-largest financial hub in the U.S., following New York and San Francisco, with the tech scene booming in areas like fintech and AI. But Illinois' economy isn't confined to Chicago. The state's manufacturing sector, which represents 12.8% of the GDP, has its roots in cities like Peoria and Rockford. Caterpillar in Peoria alone makes Illinois a leader in heavy machinery and construction equipment, contributing billions annually. Agriculture also plays a critical role, especially in cities like Champaign-Urbana and Decatur, where corn, soybeans, and livestock are major contributors to the economy. Illinois ranks as one of the top agricultural producers in the U.S., generating over $19 billion from crops and livestock each year. Illinois' diverse economic makeup, blending finance, manufacturing, tech, and agriculture, ensures it remains a driving force in the national economy. It's not just the Windy City, it's the whole state that's gusting forward. Washington secures the sixth spot with a GDP of around $1.5 trillion, showcasing its rise as a global tech and trade powerhouse. Anchored by the booming Seattle metro area, the state's economy is driven by innovation, international exports, and a robust industrial base. Seattle is home to tech giants like Amazon and Microsoft, two of the world's most valuable companies, whose headquarters generate billions in economic activity and draw global talent. The city is also a thriving hub for cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and gaming, thanks to companies like Valve, Bungie, and Expedia Group. But Washington's economic strength doesn't end with tech. It's a leader in aerospace, with Boeing's massive operations in Everett and Renton driving exports and employment. The Port of Seattle and Port of Tacoma, which form the Northwest Seaport Alliance, rank among the busiest in the U.S., fueling international trade, especially with Asia. Add in thriving sectors like renewable energy, biotech, and agriculture. Yes, it leads in apples and hops. And Washington's well-balanced, forward-looking economy firmly earns its place among America's elite in 2025. North Carolina claims the fifth spot with an impressive GDP of approximately $1.7 trillion, marking its transformation into a national economic heavyweight. Known for its strategic location and skilled workforce, the state has become a magnet for innovation and investment. Charlotte, one of the fastest-growing cities in the U.S., has evolved into a major banking and finance hub, second only to New York City in financial assets. It's home to powerhouses like Bank of America and the East Coast operations of Wells Fargo. Meanwhile, Raleigh and the surrounding Research Triangle, including Durham and Chapel Hill, form one of the most advanced tech and biotech corridors in the country. Companies like IBM, Cisco, Biogen, and Red Hat contribute to the area's cutting-edge economy. The state also excels in aerospace, manufacturing, and pharmaceuticals, with exports topping $40 billion annually. With pro-business policies, world-class universities, and a steadily growing population, North Carolina has positioned itself as a top-tier economic engine redefining the Southern economy in 2025. Florida now ranks fourth in the nation with a massive GDP of $1.7 trillion, and its growth trajectory shows no signs of slowing. What sets Florida apart isn't just its scale, it's the speed and diversity of its expansion. Population growth is off the charts. Florida gained over 365,000 new residents in 2023 alone, more than any other state. That migration wave is fueling booms in real estate, construction, retail, and services, especially in cities like Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville, and Fort Lauderdale. But there's more than just demand driving Florida's rise. The state is home to the second-largest aerospace and aviation sector in the U.S., with over 106,000 employees and major operations from SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Lockheed Martin. Cape Canaveral is now a launch hub for both satellites and space tourism. Internationally, Florida is a trade titan. With 16 deepwater ports, it moves over $110 billion in goods annually, mostly with Latin America. Port Miami and Port Everglades fuel a thriving logistics economy. Add in a fast-growing tech scene in Miami and Tampa, and Florida is proving it's not just a tourist magnet, it's an economic juggernaut. Taking the third spot, New York boasts a powerhouse economy with a GDP of roughly $2.3 trillion, rivaling that of entire countries like France and the UK. At its core is New York City, the undisputed global capital of finance and commerce. Wall Street anchors the state's dominance, with the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ processing trillions in trades daily. The financial sector alone contributes over $600 billion to the state's output, with giants like JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, and Citigroup headquartered here. Beyond finance, New York leads in media, entertainment, and technology. Companies like NBC Universal, Warner Brothers Discovery, and Spotify call the state home, contributing to a media industry valued at over $150 billion. Meanwhile, biotech and healthcare are booming. The New York City, Long Island metro area employs over 800,000 people in health services. Institutions like Mount Sinai, Pfizer, and Regeneron push the state to the forefront of medical innovation. From upstate manufacturing in cities like Rochester and Buffalo to Silicon Alley startups, New York blends legacy power with future-forward energy, and it's not slowing down. In second place, Texas commands a staggering $2.9 trillion GDP, placing it ahead of countries like India and Italy. But this isn't just about size. Texas is redefining what a modern economic superpower looks like. It leads the U.S. in exports, shipping out more than $500 billion worth of goods annually. From semiconductors and machinery to crude oil and cattle, the state's output is as diverse as its geography. Houston, the energy capital of the world, houses over 4,600 energy companies and drives both traditional oil and the expanding renewables sector. Austin has emerged as one of the fastest-growing tech economies in America, attracting heavyweights like Apple, Tesla, Google, and Oracle. The region's tech job growth ranks among the highest in the country, fueled by low taxes and a business-friendly climate. Meanwhile, Dallas, Fort Worth is a logistics and finance giant, home to American Airlines, AT&T, and over 20 Fortune 500 headquarters. Texas isn't just growing, it's evolving. A magnet for capital, companies, and cutting-edge ideas, the Lone Star State is building an economy as vast and dynamic as its skies. At number 1, California stands tall with a GDP of $4.1 trillion, making it not only the largest economy in the United States, but the 5th largest in the world. Yes, ahead of the United Kingdom and just behind Germany. Its strength comes from scale and diversity. Silicon Valley alone generates over $275 billion annually, driven by global giants like Apple, Google, Meta, and Nvidia. But tech isn't the only engine. Hollywood fuels a $70 billion entertainment industry, with Los Angeles at its epicenter, producing more content, jobs, and cultural exports than anywhere else on the planet. Meanwhile, California's Central Valley makes the state the #1 agricultural producer in the U.S., generating over $55 billion annually in crops and livestock, including almonds, grapes, and dairy. The clean energy sector is also booming. California leads the country in solar power generation, with over 10 million homes powered by solar energy. Combine that with cutting-edge biotech, aerospace innovation, and global tourism, and it's clear. California isn't just leading, it's defining what an economic superpower looks like in the 21st century. These top 10 states aren't just leading, they're shaping the future of America's economy. Each one tells a unique story of innovation, industry, and resilience. Whether it's cutting-edge tech in California, energy dominance in Texas, or financial leadership in New York, these states represent the beating heart of U.S. economic power in 2025. If this countdown gave you a new perspective on America's economic landscape, hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and share it with someone who follows the money. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every one.